Good morning, everybody. The washout pattern. Well, maybe it's wishful thinking, but yesterday could have been the start of a retest of those lows and hopefully a lower low. The more negative could be, the better. And so we always look at things in detail as what's going on. And so we've had this consolidation, and some of the indices or sectors will look a little different than others, of course, but there's a vast similarity between them. And so futures, as you know, are 24 hours or almost 24 hours. And, a little bit different patterns, or we don't see the gaps, whereas, with the futures, we don't see, and the others we do. So what we see happening here on this market, let me have a little pencil here, is that we had this little trading range going on. And we talked about yesterday how this was setting up what appeared to be a bottoming action where it was going to go up, and it failed and turned into a rolling over action. So yesterday we had a little sell-off. And one of my comments in the room at the end of the day was, hey, if it moves up here, it's probably a selling opportunity. And it's only because, that's what's been going on. And we want to see a move down. And until we get some clarity on this tariffs, which is nauseating already, I think it's just going to be a chop fest. But we shall see. This little move up that started at the end of the day yesterday, this little counter trend rally, which is, I guess, typical, in a downward moving day, little counter trend move back up again, just a technical bounce. And so this little move up here this morning is nothing more than a retest, or not even a retest, a test of minor resistance. So basic foundational information. What was support becomes resistance. And so minor resistance, where it broke down from, and we got major resistance up here in these pivots. And so as it's coming up, into this area, we'll see if sellers want to show up. Now, if by some measure, possibility today is a green day, it trades inside of yesterday's range, well, I would be thinking tomorrow measured move lower, because look, one of two things has to happen here. It's going sideways. So one of two things has to happen. It's either got to go up or it's got to go down. And down is the preferred direction, because that's what's going to set up a pattern. If it goes up, it's got to go up with authority. It's got to be powerful to get any kind of bullish juices going. And even if it does, it's going to hit a wall, the next wall. So it just would be historically an undesirable pattern. One I guess we would have to deal with, but it would be undesirable for it to go up just into the next resistance area, which would put us in a wide whippy trading range. So ideally, even if it's a green day, it goes down. Right? Today, just be a red day, continue down. This is one day down from a consolidation. So if it stabilizes, it would make sense for it to continue lower tomorrow. And as far as economic news tomorrow, there's like a lot of gasoline stuff, home sales. I don't think at this point anyone gives a damn about economic reports, because we're sick of it. The battle going on, or so-called little tiff going on, Trump and Powell and so on. It's just adding more nausea to the whole situation. So we'll just have to see how this unfolds. NASDAQ futures, similar pattern, consolidating, chopping in the upper part of the wide range bar. It broke down. It's up this morning into minor resistance. We'll be watching to see if it rolls over. The Russell held up relatively well, and it broke down, coming up into resistance, marking time. So just neutral in the moment, with an existing downtrend. Sure, it's short-term extended, but things, patterns that become short-term extended and stabilize. The ideal scenario is a retest and reversal of the low. It's not happening yet. So we're kind of just stuck in no man's land. The Dow, like a nice flow of 3 days down on the daily time frame. There's a little less of a consolidation, but it did break down under those two bars. And there's little to nothing to stop it from going down. We'll look at the ETFs to get a clearer view on what's to the left, since these contracts obviously um, you know expire and continue quarter to quarter. So we could look at a continuous contract, but nonetheless, we'll just go and look at the sectors. So somewhat similar, but a little closer down to the lows. And just to take a look, scroll down. I thought maybe I had the symbol there, but we probably heard about Meta and the government and whatever. That's already down to the April low, right? Or it's already there. And so it'll be interesting to see. This might be one of the, I don't know, motivating things that could get the market going. The government comes out and says they're going to break it up. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's not. It's got some support further down, but that's of interest. GS, and keeping an eye on mags. That's almost down to the lows there. So some of the others are weak. Apple's holding up relatively well. Of course, Netflix is doing pretty good. Google, that's almost down to the lows. So there are some things that are getting closer to that support level. And again, I talk about the ideal scenarios. So ideally, like when we talk about a downtrend and turns beginning to happen, the way they historically occur is they break down with momentum. They stabilize and they go down with momentum, and they have a counter rally and they go down, but the momentum slows. And no indicators. All you need to do is watch the distance between the lows. And that's the idea or concept of a new low bonus reversal kind of scenario. And this isn't even climactic, folks. And so we measure climactic as something getting extended. So as a visual representation, we would say, okay, look, the distance from the 20, but that is subjective. And you see the distance from the 20 here on the weekly, it's far. What we're looking for is the distance from any resistance, but these type of accelerations help a lot. So, Google breaking down to the next support level, those are the kind of things that we want to see happen, and whatever the next news item is that can get things flowing, bring it on. Do you think we are in 2022 again without a VSB situation for the Fed to intervene? Well, the Fed would intervene. Well, you heard Powell. He's sticking to his guns. Trump has another opinion about things. Is the economy slowing? Depends, I guess, on what you want to look at. But we saw the market is borderline insane, between insanity and uncertainty. Let's just put it this way. And all you need to do is look at the bond market to get a view of that. And you might remember we talked about this head and shoulders top, and it broke and it popped up, and you got the breakdown, and then it accelerated lower, and then it goes crazy and it rips right back up through this support to the next support level. So this kind of wild gyration is crazy. It's crazy. So look, things have to calm down. And it doesn't matter what's happening in the moment. So in a way of looking at the technicals, when prices are crazy, how do you define crazy? Breakdown fails, breakout fails, whipping up and down, prices intersecting moving averages that are relatively flat, and prices whipping back and forth, pivot highs and pivot lows far apart. And so things have to calm down. And so one of the things we'll talk about, I missed the SPX yesterday, but the interesting thing today as far as things calming down. So let's continue here. Gold has backed off a little bit, a little topping tail action. The day is far from over. So this got a little extended there and accelerated. This is a typical kind of a move where things need to consolidate the gain. So we'll see where this ends the day. Silver in the trading range. I got alerts down below and up above. Let's see which way this might go. Crude oil is at minor resistance within a downtrend. Sellers are here. So far, no break one way or the other. Well, as far as 2022 again, and banks and so on, it was about interest rates, and short-term interest rates, and the tightening process that began and all of that. So look, we look at the technicals. Environments change, so it's normal for us to try and associate the present with the past to see if there's some agreement there, a rhyme to make sense of the future. But it was a different time, as to what was happening then, and so we've got downtrends here in multiple time frames, which has been a long time since we've had downtrends on weekly time frames across almost all sectors and markets. And so things need to calm down. Look, internals yesterday, like we had this improvement. They started rolling back over yesterday. Ideally, they come down. Again, tested the lows. The dollar's collapsed. There's pluses and minuses to that. You can, we'll see where that goes. And yeah, let's take a look at SPY and SPX. So death crosses everywhere, right? Not that we really care, but it's another measure of the bearish markets at this time, where more and more sectors, the 50 MA is crossing under the 200 MA. Right? So things have been going down for a little while. And it doesn't mean that they're going to continue to go down for a secular bear market or anything like that. It's just another measure. We can already see it's in a downtrend, right? Okay, so S&P's up here a little bit and gapping, at this time near the top of the red bar. No big deal. Go ahead, gap up into resistance. Here's your resistance there. It was holding, was support. Now it's resistance, and it's opening up in that area. The sellers should be there. We'll see what the reaction is. So markets are gapping up. We all see that, right? No matter where you look, the Dow is up, whatever, 200-300 points, 400 points futures. So, that's all positive. Really? Right? What's so positive about it? It's in a downtrend and it's gapping up into resistance. Now, here's the interesting part. Right? So yesterday, this number was 53.63 was our outside range. Markets are gapping up. The strike came down. And this one, let me just take a look. I believe, did it come down? It was at 60 yesterday. It actually came up. So things are tightening. And when things tighten, it means something's going to snap. I don't know if it's going to snap today, but it's interesting that the markets are gapping up and the put side has come down. I don't remember seeing that happen in a long, long time, ever. But it's just an interesting point to take note of right now. And it's gapping up roughly around here. And so yesterday it broke below 5,200. Now it's gonna, if it's still there, it'll open up above 5,200. Average true range is actually about 119 now, give or take, but I had that on there. There's a little unfilled gap here. So we have resistance areas here, down below. There's nothing, right, to down here. So opening here, you watch the 65-minute chart or 60, whatever you're looking, and watch to see if this, even though that resistance up here, if this flips back down, and in the first 60 minutes, even 30 minutes or whatever, it's a red bar back down. Let's look for a measured move lower. Now, I don't know how low it's going to go, but here you've got momentum picking up on the breakdown. Prices are opening up right around here. If this flips back down, that's going to be a clear signal to go lower. Onto transports, not much else to say there. All yours, Dan.
All right, good morning. 1 second. All right, that's sorry, just a minute something there. All right, get the chart up. So based on that beautiful 15-minute turn at the end of the day yesterday, I was using the analogy of it was just a garden hose of selling on all day long. And the hourly charts were coming into support. So we were just waiting when they felt like reversing. And then they reversed here. So I had a bullish bias for today because here we had a void down on the hourly. Here we have a void up. And now it's going to be difficult. Gapping up here. Like if I were long overnight or had long calls, I'd just sell the open and see where things settle. So I'm not going to be in a rush to do anything here. But my bias is put spreads on a controlled pullback. Now, if it fills this gap in 30 minutes, then that's more selling than I expect. And then Greg's scenario is, probably continuation lower. But my bias is controlled pullback. I'm going to start looking for Friday put spreads. All right, alarms going off. ARC B, we bought a half lot yesterday. This was a Bitcoin one. I mentioned IBIT pre-market yesterday. They're all going to look fairly similar. Mr. We did a put spread. Coin was in the weekend ladder, but did not trigger. But it still looks great for a bottoming pattern. Big move off the low. All these inside bars, 20 MA flattening, a 1, 2, 3 on the weekly. So I have it just as a put spread, but if I get a closing breakout over these red bars, then I think directional on the way to the 50. Bravo Golf alarm. This was on the weekend ladder also, but I canceled it, but I said I was keeping my alarm. Inverse head and shoulder breakout. Tomorrow MT Live, we're talking about our compelling patterns and this crazy volatility. And ideally I just wanted to go sideways a little more, but then the weekly, beautiful bottoming pattern. Look at 2 weeks ago's bar is a range expansion bottoming tail on major support. So this has room to 85 bucks or so on the weekly, which would be that declining 200. Dollar General alarm. We bought half lot of this yesterday. It was in the weekend letter. Avgo, we have a call spread. We covered half yesterday. Break even half. Curto, we shorted. Covered a third, gapping out. Let me see if that's gapping over the stop. I moved the stop to break even. Curto 35. Oh, it is gapping over. Okay, shoot, I had the stop of 35.02. All right, let me move stop 5-minute high on this, but we're still at we're right at break even. So a good thing we covered some of the weakness yesterday. Curto, move stop 5-minute high. I don't think I gave it to you all because it was in the weekend letter, but you might have heard me talking about it. Look at M as an example. Example of what? Relative weakness, gapping down. Yeah, I remember you shorted that yesterday. Oh, okay. All right, those are all the alarms. STZ is in the weekend ladder. Another inverse head and shoulder. That one's good to go if it triggers. Nice weekly also and monthly. On Netflix, we did a put spread yesterday. We should have a nice open game. I think it'd be open just from time decay. It's actually right. We put it on right at 1,000. So that's going to be very interesting. I'll load it up to see how much gain we have at the open. It's just another example of stock went nowhere and I made money. That's the beauty of selling options. All right, let's go to earnings now. Well, Tesla's. What do you mean you see no earnings to put on for today? Or oh, you mean you went through these? Got it. All right. Well, Tesla's earnings after the bell. I will consider selling naked puts on this myself, just because look at the weekly support, monthly support. It's down. I think I read 44% now off the high. It was down 50, I think, at one point in time. Or I guess at these prior lows. And it's in the middle of horrible news. And so if it's bottoming on horrible news, then remember last week we did trading on news. That's a bullish sign. If something can't go down, I mean, it is down, of course, but not as much. So I'll be looking to do that myself, depending on the premium. All right, these are earnings last night. No pattern, but it's working on a short-term bottom. If there's any $8 puts, that would be an idea. Zion's a regional bank, 41 bucks. Call spread if there's any juice. HXL 47.50. You're not going to get any juice that far away. It's a mess. Looks like it's just going to bobble around range down there. WRB opening up a little, not much, but no pattern. Cade, nothing. Med P 256. That's an ugly gap in a downtrend. I'll keep an eye on it just to see what it does. Med P. Oh, this was earnings last week, but I'm watching UNH also. There's no turn yet on the 15, but once I get a turn on the 15, I'm going to be looking to sell naked puts for Friday. There's juice all the way down to the 387s. Calyx 3770, gaps too big. Wall, no pattern. Ellis, no pattern. WTFC, I don't see any gap, but you know what? I'm gonna set an alarm at 102.80 because if this does break out, um, then it has a void to the upside. So 102.80. Caddy, no pattern, garbage, consolidation and downtrend. SWSFBS, garbage. Alex, it's scary. It's scary how you and I have similar humor. You know, you know what I was gonna tell you, but I didn't want to, I don't have enough time to play around. I was gonna say if it didn't have the C, then it should go into Sam's ETF. Exactly. All right, gap and resistance, GE, no interest. Verizon, bearish gap to support, maybe put spread 30-minute high, but ugly pattern. 115. There you go. There's a big old bearish gap. I will watch as an excessive gap. Oh, I also have knock here. Look at knock, knock, knock on heaven's door. Gap and a support. So those are two military stocks. DHR, bullish gap. There you go. There's a put spread idea. Done. I like that one. If there's any juice. They mentioned tariff uncertainty also. LMT. This is one I shorted the 370s and now it's turning red. Shoot, it was up nicely. But I'm still gonna have a profit. I'm bidding a nickel. But I don't like that it's giving it up. So military is gonna be under pressure today. Hey, my WTFC alarm went up. I mean, alarm went off already. Boom. I'll reset it at 103 now. Yeah, I'm in no rush to do anything. Um, particularly on the long side with this gap up. I'm just gonna manage opens here. All right. All right, so there's knock. Hey, our Netflix bottom right, ripping. All right, knock. I'm gonna set an alarm at 490. Let me know. All right, Netflix is flying. That's the only Only Pittsburgh. No, I'm not the only one. Never mind. But that was my favorite one on yesterday morning. Remember, because of the earnings gap, and then we did it on a pullback. Um, Amazon. No. It's a bullish gap, but is it a pro gap? Is it a island gap? No, no. It's just a bullish gap is all with the market. All right, Bravo Golf. This is one I canceled um from the weekend letter, but it's looking a lot better now. Our Netflix put spread. Wow. Wow, we're at 70% of max gain. Wait, 80? 18? All right, I just sent an order to close mine at 18 cents. Didn't get filled because I'm sure it's spreading. Track 20. No, island gaps have to, be able to drive a truck through each sign. Uh, Remember I said yesterday also, uh, Netflix could be a directional if it closed strong. All right, so I'm changing my bid to a quarter here. Okay, I got filled at 24. Let's move stop. Days low. 1004. Man, man, these prices of these stocks incredible. Coin, my alarm didn't go off, but let me look at it. I know what it looks like. WTFC alarm again. That's that earnings stock I mentioned. Yeah, yeah, looks great. Yeah. The market's coming in now. My alarm just went off on coin. So the put spread is a go. It's filled, but I like it directional if it closes like this. That's a nice little base. Market's toppy here, so I'm in no rush. All right, this was weekend letter, so I totally had to guess of what it would be. Let's see, my LMT puts 15 cents. I can get out. Yeah, I sold them for 75, but oh, they're the 400s. Yeah, I'm gonna kill it. Just take my money. Oh, shoot, the purchase raised it a nickel. All right. So coin, let me see where you're at. Did I say 167? $1.03. 67. 157. All right, we're gonna have to change this. Oh, it was 157. Okay, so yeah, so we're not getting our buck 45, but I'm gonna lower it to 90 cents. I'm still happy with. LMT. Let's check Mr. Yeah, this looks fantastic. Man, look at that Netflix ripping. Mr. looks good. Yep. iBit looks great. We talked about that yesterday. Greg, you like coin directional half lot?
I won't do it unless it pulls back or get some other pattern. The day is not done yet. Not even day's just beginning.
I agree, but I always get confused because sometimes you say that, and sometimes you say, well, the pattern is triggered. And
Well, it's a bottoming pattern, which I don't care for. They're better for credit spreads. So it's not an uptrend. I'd rather wait for some kind of confirming pattern. And that's what I'll do. I'll see if it holds here. But do as you like.
well, I will. I'll watch it. Military stocks. Knock, knock. New way, Jose. That looks horrible. RTX. Man, my software's slow. I actually like the pre-market Clemo. I like this one better than knock. It's a better pattern. Let me check juice bar. The 110s. 40 by 55 is all. This is DHR. Is this military too? That's a sloppy pattern, but I would do the 180s. 15 cents. I don't think so.
Whoa.
WTFC alarm. Let me check puts. I don't like it directional. I would do 97s. No, there's no weeklies. Forget it. Oh, get it. My UNH. UNH, I like over that last 15-minute bars high, because then it'll be a small little breakdown failure or arc Bravo up alarm. Oh man, this is spready. Wow, the 377s were $1. Okay, I'm gonna try the 372.50s for $1. Actually, $1.05. Oh, Tesla. Let me check him. UNH Doe. What does Doe mean? Oh, Friday, of course. Yeah, I'm trying the 372.5 for 1.05 is my order. All right, let me track Tesla. Um, I would never directionally do this, but if I'm doing an earnings trade, I like the 15-minute chart. So the question is, I'm just going right to the premium and see what strike would be about $1. And the 185s are 95 cents. It's third, fourth, $50 lower. Expected move 25. All right, I'll do the 175s for my dad. Just hit the bid at 60 cents. All right, done. Yeah, no, that is an amazing tick. Yeah, it's a buy setup at 1,000. That is amazing strength. I told you I was bullish on a pullback. We're not getting a pullback. Greg, our Arc Bravo looking great. We only did a half lot. But yeah, Bitcoin stocks. Bitcoin is over 90,000 now. But oh shoot, we did a call spread on this. So that's not good. But it was an early alarm. But it is not looking good. But here still bobbling around. Alex, you mentioned CELH. We are in that already. Yep, now we can move stuff yesterday's low. I'm gonna dime under 34.68. Uh, quite a move here today, negating yesterday's freaking sell-off. But makes it hard for new trades. Erdo, 5 minute high is out. So that would be 36.61, which is break even. Oh no, my bad. It's $1 above it. All right, shoot. And we covered a third at a profit. We we made $2 on the first third, but lost $2 on the back 2/3. So we're right at break even. Wow, that math just turned out to do that. Amazing. We got out break even. Hmm. CLH alarm, up alarm. Looking better. Art general 90. Let's move stop break even. Oh, did it. 95, 85. Ah, so we made that yesterday. All right, cool. And it's I don't know about nice, but a bottoming pattern. Look at with me sector. There's with me, and then you got riot and hut are the three big ones that I remember. So Mar is the best of those three. XME, I had stop break even. stop break even now. Credit sprints. Abco was 168. So it gapped over it. That's 177. Two is 55. Avco, let's close. Avco, did we cover half? Okay, so it's where let's close Avco break even right now. We did not cover half. I said bid a dime, but we didn't get anywhere near that. This year we got 285. $13. You know what? Let's just take our money. It's not worth trying to squeeze out another dime when today's Tuesday. Netflix, not Spot. That's the only problem, child. Not liking this. No, that would be a red bar ignored breakout. Do not like Spot. Netflix is flying. I said it was a directional watch, but man, with the topping tail, I surely didn't expect that big old move. Let's see where we're at. I already covered all of mine, but yeah, man, look at that igniting camp. Uh, all horsemen except Diamond are now above yesterday's high. That's an incredible reversal. Alex, you want me to answer Greg, or do you want to? As you think I would answer. No, the Swiss make good watches. That's why. Good chocolate too. Yeah, exactly. That's right. Watches and chocolate. What about women, Robert? Never really heard of Swiss. Yeah, I never hear of Swiss being, oh, they got hot chicks. You gotta go check them out. So 34, half 34, 17. Um, Spots are only friggin' problem child. That's our only open trade too on the credit spread. But I told you this morning my bias was put spreads. Oh, I just put on coin. I gave coin. So Alex, where's your boy Sam? You said you found him under a table yesterday. What was he doing there? Look at this knock is going nowhere. Hey Robert, what song do you think of with the word knock in the title? Correct. See how smart you all are. Well, we got out of Netflix so far at the dead high. For a dime, we'll take it. Over 90% of max gain. That's how you do it. I know we're out on Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Avoiding 3.5 days, 3 3/4 days of risk. To avoid trying to make 10 cents. Seems pretty commonsensical to me. This Dollar Tree. We did not get filled on that naked put. Or wait, did I change it? I think I changed the credit. Open daily full screen. Why do I need to do that? I don't need to. You know why? Because I see the weekly, Alex. I don't need it. And it's a naked put trade. No, I said 70 cents. I don't know if that got filled or not. Oh no, my bad. That was Trump. Trump, 70 cents. This one, Dollar Tree, I wanted 90. So no, we did not get filled. No, Alex, seriously, man. Look at my weekly and my monthly, even though it's just a little snippet here, and the daily. The bet is it's gonna hold Thursday's low. Why do I care about an unfilled gap over to the left somewhere? Answer, I have zero concern for that. Look at all these pending trades. All right, Trump. Nope, we did not get. Wait, Trump should have been filled. Ah, no, because it gapped under the entry. All right, no, we did not get filled on Trump or Dollar Tree. Unfortunately, they both would be working nicely. Dollar Tree, cancel, no fill. What about T-Tech? That's not triggered. And then the weekly, IONQ did not trigger, but I left it. IoT, we can cancel that now. And then I have Pelletier. Has not triggered, but it's fine if it does. Please record 81 and a half. Well, I know you're not talking to me because I don't care. Alex, that is so far away. It's meaningless to me. That, Alex, let me ask you a question. Have you ever ridden a camel? Have you ridden a camel before? What about an elephant? What animal have you ridden? Okay, have you seen? Okay, so you've ridden on a lion. Have you ever seen a mosquito on a lion's rear end? Okay, now I'm getting somewhere with you. This is a mosquito on the lion's rear end. It's meaningless to me. All right, next subject. What do you want to talk about?